Welcome back, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, my next guest is an Emmy-winning director who has made nearly 40 documentaries about the American experience. His new film explores the mysteries and genius of Leonardo da Vinci.
This was the heart of the painting for him because it allowed him to show gesture and action and facial expression, the motions of the mind. All of this 3-4 seconds that happens at this table is unfolding before our eyes in this single image. And the brilliance of him being able to bring this off is truly astounding.
Leonardo da Vinci had magnificently rendered the gestures, both subtle and dramatic, that testified to the psychological states of his subjects. And he had resoundingly answered the question that he had asked himself many times before. Tell me if anything was ever done.
Please welcome back to The Late Show, Ken Burns. Love talking to you. It's always, it's very few guests come with the facility to explain why they are interested in the project that they're here to talk about. And after 40 documentaries, your new film, Leonardo da Vinci, it's the first to have a non-American subject in it. You know, have you run out of U.S. history? Is there nothing? did you run out of black and white photos to slowly crawl a camera over or something?
No, I've got something.
Why?
So my shtick has always been that if I were given 1,000 years to live, which I will not be given, I would never run out of topics in American history, and that is still true. I was having dinner with Walter Isaacson, who's a biographer of Benjamin Franklin. I was working on a film about him. He's been an old friend. And he was trying to sell me all evening the idea of doing Leonardo. He also wrote a book about Leonardo.
Which I read, which is a brilliant book.
Wonderful book. And I kept pushing back, and I was sort of getting pissed off. And I finally went out, and I called my daughter, Sarah Burns, and her husband, David McMahon. We'd collaborated on the Central Park Five, Jackie Robinson, and Muhammad Ali, and have several films going on through the end of the decade. And I said, Walter's trying to push this Leonardo. They said, we can do Leonardo. And it was like, right, this old dog could learn a new trick. And so you begin to realize that if you tell good stories, you're interested in universal human experiences. And it doesn't really matter who has them. And then here is the guy who's probably the most important person of the last millennium. I mean, Shakespeare would have an argument, and Mozart and Bach maybe, but this guy is the greatest scientist of the age, an anatomist, a botanist. He studies water dynamics. He knows about how atmosphere works. He's dissected human beings. He's the greatest artist of the time. He's a philosopher. He's got the most famous painting of all time. He's using 75% of the brain if we're just using 10, and I want to know more about it. And so this has been this joyous, and he's not a tortured artist. He's a wonderful person. He sings, he plays musical instruments, he stages theatricals. It's somebody you want to know, somebody you want to be with and be around. And he happens to be a person who could probably say, I know everything there is to know, and he's still not satisfied. The most relentlessly curious person I've ever come across. And that kind of wonder, that kind of joy, that kind of excitement about learning, we can use a lot of now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's so much about Leonardo to talk about. I'm going to jump to the greatest hit here. Why is this painting the most famous painting in the world? Is it PR?
No.
I just asked because,
no,
you know.
I get it. I get it. She is kind of encrusted with the barnacles of sentimentality and nostalgia, but this is the epitome of painting. There was a critic in the middle of the 16th century, Giorgio Vasari, who is rhapsodizing about this. This is the 24-year-old wife of a well-to-do Florentinian silk merchant who by age 24 had already had 5 children. He was commissioned to make a painting of her. It is beautiful, the background's beautiful, everything about what he's known all his life about bringing to life. But see, he also knows about anatomy. He knows about the heart. He knows about the circulatory system. He knows about the muscular system. He knows about hair. He knows about atmosphere. He knows about all these things. He puts it all in this. And so we make jokes now. Marcel Duchamp paints a mustache on her in the Surrealist period. But she represents the height of the human project, the ultimate question. She is a real person. He has animated it. And this critic, Vasari, went down from rhapsodizing about the face and looked at her neck and he said, I can see the blood flowing in her veins. I can see her heart beating there, which means that he had become, as Francesca Borgo in our film A Scholar said, become a painter god. He had taken these inanimate objects and he had invested them with so much energy, so much curiosity, so much life and emotion that she is alive. And the French king had already imported him. He never delivered the painting. He's always tinkering with it. And so when he came to France and spent his last years there, it answers your question, why is it at the Louvre and not in the Uffizi in Florence or in Rome, at the Vatican, whatever? It's because the French had it. But it is the epitome of the work of the greatest painter, I think, of all time, who got into who we are, this central questions that he's always asking, interrogating the universe. What is my purpose here?
Well, that's my last question. I know we've already gone a bit long here, but I just want to ask you anyway, because I love talking to you. You've told me before when we've talked that your films try to answer the question, who are we? What does Leonardo tell us about who we are?
You know what? We never get the answer. We sound the question, and I don't know anybody who has asked that question more deeply and with more inspirational effect, in so far as I mean that as you get close to the paintings, as you read the diaries, as, the codexes, as you look at the drawings and the anatomies, he built a model of a human heart that he figured out that there were 4 chambers, and he did experiments. There was no cardiac surgery. It took 450 years and MRIs to see that he was exactly right, without a microscope, without anything else, of what our hearts look like. And so I think more than anything, the metaphor of the heart is the most important thing. He's asking, who am I? And that is all that's required in any artistic realm, in any kind of political dialogue, in any social circumstance, in the intimacy of our best relationships, in our religions, our faith, whatever it might be. Who am I is a question that doesn't get answered. It gets sounded. And then out of that comes a virtuous life.
Ken, thanks so much for being here. Always a pleasure. Leonardo da Vinci premieres November 18th on PBS. Ken Burns, everybody. We'll be right back.